Hey guys, welcome back to the next part of our series. Today we're going to start with our hair challenge. We're going to be working on the different things that we need to learn about the hair, and for that we're going to start with the reference. As with anything else in the 3D production pipeline, reference is going to be your savior every time you have any question about pretty much anything. Because what we're trying to do at the end of the day is we're trying to replicate the real world in a 3D world, and therefore we need to be aware of what happens in the real world in order to have the best possible result. So here's a couple of images I got from the internet that pretty closely mimics the type of hair that our character has. I think that the guy that approaches the most is this guy right here, which has a longish hair on the top and then the side combed towards the bottom. So that's roughly what we're looking for. However, I really like this definition right here. I like how it looks right here as well. I grabbed this image specifically to show you what we're not gonna do. As you can see here, this is what I believe it's called a fade, where you have longer hair going into very short hair, very trimmed hair. So the issue with this is that we need to do a combination of a very nicely painted texture and hair cards, and our character doesn't seem to have that. He seems to have quite a longish hair here on the sides of his face, right? So in this video, what I want to show you is we need to find out, or we need to divide the different areas of the hair that we need to create. This will tell us how many hair cards we actually need to create and how these hair cards should or will look. So let's go into a reference real quick right here. And in a new layer, I'm gonna paint really quick the areas of our character. So first, right off the bat, we have this big area right here, which is like the top side of the area. And in here, I can see two types of hair. This long fibers going in, so we're gonna call them main long, because they're the main feature of the character. And then we have this short strands at the sides that are breaking up the silhouette a little bit. You can see some of them right there, and these are going to be main short. Now for each of this, we actually want to have two hair textures, because that's going to give us a little bit of variation, and that's going to make the hair look asymmetrical and not super complex. Then on the, or actually it's going to look more complex rather. Now on the side here, we have this area right here, and we have this longish hairs coming to the side like this. So let's call them side, actually they're short, so let's call them side short. And then we have all of these elements right here, which is going to be just short hair. So just short. And for this two, we also need about two textures for each one. Again, to have a little bit of variation. After that, we also need to do the eyebrows, because the eyebrows are going to be with haircuts. So, or sorry, the, eyebrows. So that's eyebrows. For that, we actually just need one. And there's two more sets of hair that I like to do, and these are called the flyaways. These are very common nowadays in games, where you have this like loose hair going a little bit over like in different directions, so kind of like a messy hair, and that's really good. You can see it a little bit here because it allows you to what's the word, to break up the silhouette of the character. And for this, I'm also gonna have two of them. I'm gonna have one long and one short. And there's the transition hairs that we normally find here, and that's why we need this reference so it's easier to see. You can see here that where the hair is born, we usually have very short hairs that blend into the longer strands that we have. You can see them right here as well. So those are going to be very useful to mask out the transition from the haircuts into the texture of the actual scalp. So those little transition hairs. So that's gonna be, let me grab like a different color. So all of those like transition hairs. So let's call this transition. And for those, I'm also gonna have two sets of them. So at the end of the day, we need to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 different sets. So how's this gonna work? Well, we're gonna be creating a map, an atlas, as we sometimes call them, where we're gonna pretty much have all the strands line up in a very nicely square manner, in such a way that we can easily place just a plane on top of that texture and get it into a hair card. Now for this, we're actually gonna have three steps to the whole process, and I'm gonna write them right here for you to memorize. The first step is the generation of the strands. Then we're gonna have the baking of the maps, because we need the maps from those strands. And finally, we're gonna have the creation of the hair cards. All of this is only to get the hair cards to work nicely. After that, we're gonna go into actually placing the hair cards. And then finally, optimizing the hair cards. So it's gonna be quite a ride here. It's gonna be interesting. It's actually an easy process. It's really not that difficult. The issue is it's very similar to topology where it takes quite a bit of time. So especially for this other sites here and for some of this over here, I'm gonna be saving some of the time and just explaining the general thing and then going over the things that we did in order for this video not to go, or this series not to go like to 40 or 50 hours, because it does take some time, okay? So this is it for this video, guys. This is just the introduction of the general idea of the next phase for our character. And in the next one, we're gonna start learning a little bit about XGen and how to actually generate all of these hair strands. So hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next video. Bye-bye.